Take these, put some brow tint. Ooh, baby. So take the tint off, and this is what it look like. Period. Period. My son seen this and he was like, I can't even say what he said because I don't want to get like canceled or whatever. But anyway, he was talking trash about my brows, but I love them. I do. Anyway, so this video, I know for a fact that I'm gonna offend some people. I know this. I know I am. Cause when I came to this realization myself, I was offended. Like I had to clutch my own pearls. But being awakened to things, or how you've been your own demise, and then looking at stories that people have told you, stories that people have told me, um, it's like you get to really see like, oh, this is how that happened. Okay, so um, let me take this so I'm not distracted by my. There we go. Ooh, they're not exact, but sisters, not twins. Sisters, not twins. Is there a little piece right there? Okay. Yes. Come on, brow tint. I'm working on getting them the same, whatever. But anyway, better than what I had, which was not much. So, this is how you are the problem in dating. And when I say you, I mean this could be male or female. I'm speaking really to the women, but men might have experienced some of this too. Um, and when I say the problem, like if you've been in a situation where you dated somebody and it went left or it wasn't good, um, and you can look back at the dates and say, you know, maybe date two is when they showed me that it wasn't it, but I kept dating them. You who I'm talking to. Date one, of course you don't know anything date one, right? Unless you've had conversations with them prior to that or whatever. Let's just assume that you met this person, you didn't really have a lot of conversation with them. Y'all went on a date to have the conversation and to get to know each other. Back before everything was, dating online or whatever, and all of that, you met someone organically. You know, you would be at the store or at, wherever, church, I don't know, McDonald's, whatever. And you see a person, the person would, see you and they, oh, okay, check you out and get your information. And, y'all might, do a couple of, exchanges, as far as the talk at that time, exchange pleasantries, how you doing? What do you do? Blah, 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 that basic surface level stuff, and then agree to go on a date, after y'all talk to each other, via text or whatever. Oh, let's get together such and such a day. Okay. Here's how you can become the problem. Prior to the date, let's differentiate this. Let's just say that you got a chance to speak to this person prior to the date ever happening. Here's how you could be the problem. If you talk to them and they let you know certain things that you know that you're not okay with, and you still agree to go out with them, You part of the problem. Because you should have stopped it then. You should have been like, no, this not for me, blah, 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 blah. Like, for example, if you know that you don't believe or that you don't like men who have a whole bunch of baby mamas, you've already deducted in your head that that ain't the type of time you want. And they tell you in the first conversation, oh, I got 3 baby mamas. Or I got 6 kids, 4 baby mamas, whatever. And you don't say, oh, that's cute. I'm happy for you, that you were fruitful and multiplied, but, unfortunately, we won't be going out because I know it's not going to go anywhere. I know that we probably aren't aligned or whatever, and it's okay. Nice to meet you. Move on, go about your day. Okay. If you know that you don't like dealing with someone who doesn't have a car, who doesn't have their own place to live, who isn't educated, or any of the things that you know that you're not okay with, you're not cool with, and they let you know that something like this is present prior to y'all even having a date, and you still let the date happen, you're part of the problem. Okay, we're not going to even get into talking about the people who go out on dates just to eat, or just because, oh, they're going to take me to this place I've never been to and I don't want to have to pay. That's a whole different thing. I'm talking about people that genuinely are trying to meet someone, genuinely trying to go somewhere with somebody, generally trying to, find something meaningful. If they told you some stuff that you've already deemed within yourself to not be acceptable, and you still go on the date, just date one, you've let them know that you accept it. You've let them know that it's okay that they got 5 baby mamas. You've let them know that it's okay that they don't have no car. You've let them know that it's okay that they still live with their mama. You've let them know that it's okay that they don't pay child support. You've let them know that whatever it is that they've told you, you've let them know that that's okay. So you lose any talking points on that. You lose. That's over with. You can never come to them and be like, oh, well, I don't really rock with that, or I think you should do this, or whatever, or why do you can't question it or nothing, because you accepted it already, because you still accepted the invitation after they let you know who they was a little bit. Okay, now move on to, let's say you didn't know anything, you just got their number, they text you, y'all had like a surface conversation. Oh yeah, I'm from such and such. Oh, I'm from Illinois. You from Dallas originally? Oh yeah, I'm from here. I've been living here all my life or whatever. Okay, great. So when you wanna, and y'all exchange little information, and next thing you know, your next real conversation is y'all going out. Cool. This happens a lot with like online dating and stuff like that. You barely, make little exchanges, in the chat or in your messages, and then you exchange numbers. You might have a little conversation, you know what I'm saying? But depending on how long that conversation lasts, you might not know too much till you get to that date. Once you get to that date, again, if they get to telling you things that you know that you're not okay with, and you still let the date continue. Let's say you roll with them. Or you want to finish your food. Okay, cool. All right. But you let the day continue without letting them know, like, hey, this is fun, but, based on da-da-da-da, I don't think it's going to be a second date. This been real. Wish you the best. But no. You don't got to be mean about it, nothing. But if you don't, you're a part of the problem. Because you are helping to perpetuate some things. Okay? You're helping to perpetuate that connection. Because it takes 2 to tango. Okay? Now, getting into SA. Certain types of sexual assault, right? And sexual assault can be simple as a person, touching your arm too much, because it's still assault on you. They're still invading your space, right? If you're not okay with a hug on the first date, if you're not okay with a kiss on the first date, if you're not okay with anything physical, okay, if you prefer to sit across the table versus sitting next to them, you are creating a boundary, right? If you go on that first date and they try to scoop and sit next to you and you don't shut that down and say, nah, your seat over there. You gotta get over there. You've just basically let them know that this is okay. What you accept is what you're going to continue to receive. You've let them know that that is cool, and they're going to keep doing it. Next time, they're going to push your envelope a little more. Next time, they're going to sit next to you, and then they're going to try to rub your leg. Or they're going to try to rub your inner thigh. They're going to do something. Because they are continually testing the waters or checking your temperature, as the old folks say, okay? They're trying to see what you gonna allow, what you gonna G for, what you gonna be okay with, okay? What you're not going to recognize as being disrespectful or whatever, okay? They're gonna continually do something to violate your boundary. The minute that they see that they could violate one, they gonna keep going. You give them that inch, they gonna take a mile. All right. If you notice on their first date that you was shut up, if you notice on that first date that, let's say they try to give you a hug, you was okay with the hug, but then they lean in for a kiss, and you stop talking to them then, like. And I think a lot. It's the FOMO thing. It's the fear of missing out. It's the FOMO shit. Because what'll happen is a person be like, well, you could have just told them not to do that anymore. You could have just told them, oh, I'm not comfortable with that. And then went on with the situation. Yeah, but they just showed you their character by them even trying. Hold on. I gotta turn something off. I want my rice to overcook. But you just showed them. You just showed them what was okay. They did that, and you still let, no. And this is why it's so important to have conversation before you ever go on a date with a person. Or while you on that first date, sitting across from them, having conversations about what you're okay with, what you're not okay with. So that it's all out on the table. You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about anything? You know what I'm saying? How do you feel about sex on the first date? Or how do you feel about, public displays of affection? How do you, asking certain questions so that you can get an idea of what they is on, what they think is okay, what they think is all right. Because a lot of times what people will do is what they was able to do with the last person. And they attribute that to you, like, oh, well, the last girl let me do this. The last person I would let you, but where are they? Okay. So apparently it didn't work that good on the last person. But anyway, you can definitely be a part of the problem by not utilizing your boundaries, because another person is always going to push past that. They're always going to see what they can get away with. They're always going to see what you'll allow. And let's say you went on a date with somebody. First date, they was touchy-feely. You let it slide. Guess what's going to happen? Second date, they're going to be touchy-feely. They're going to try to hug you. They're going to try to sit next to you. They're going to try to, or let's say it's not touch. Let's say it's inappropriate conversation, inappropriate speech. I went on a date with a guy years ago when I was like, I think I might have been 30. I don't know. It's a long time ago. So I went on this date with the guy, and when we were at the restaurant, um, he made like he didn't make a pass at the waitress, but he made a comment about her butt, and it really rubbed me the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? Um, and then he like tried to compare mine to hers, like basically like you giving me a compliment while you putting her down, type of thing. You know, I don't remember his exact words, but it was kind of like, you know, she got a booty, but you got a ass. Like it was some, I don't know, something like that. You know what I'm saying? And I was just like, did you think that was a compliment? Like, huh? You know what I'm saying? And back then, I was a lot less vocal, and a lot of times you got to verbally tell a person, hey, I don't like this, or hey, this, I'm not comfortable with this, or hey, I don't think that you should have said that, or I don't, you know. And if you don't want to be verbal, allow your lack of your presence to speak for you. Get up and leave. You know, or if you roll with them, start getting your stuff, pack this shit up. Are we leaving? You know, or nowadays you can, don't worry, my Uber outside. The fuck? You know what I'm saying? Because if they've made you uncomfortable, you probably don't want to ride with that person anyway. But and he was an older gentleman. You know what I'm saying? But still, it's like, and I know a lot of, and I say older gentlemen because I know a lot of old men be like pervs and shit. You know what I'm saying? But shut up. But I'm saying, like, he said some things that were not cool. And I said on the date, like, that was weird. That was odd, you know. So I had rolled with him. After that date, baby, I want to say since then, I've never gotten a car with somebody to go on a date. No. Because I never wanted to be in a situation where I felt uncomfortable riding with somebody, or after they've said something fucked up or whatever to me. I never wanted to be in a situation where now I'm riding in this car with you, or now I gotta pay a Uber or pay Lyft or whatever to get home. Like, no. So no, I'll meet you there. Okay, I'll meet you there. But so after he said those inappropriate things, you know, I expected that after I told him, like, you know, that was kind of inappropriate, blah blah blah. Back then, I expected that, oh, that wasn't gonna happen again. Guess what happened? We didn't even get to another day. He texted me something very inappropriate, asking me to show him something on myself. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that. But if I had called Uber, called a ride, got up and left, soon as he said whatever, packed his shit up, he probably would have never felt comfortable to say anything else to me as far as that was concerned. Okay? But since I didn't shut it down immediately through my verbal shutting it down or physically shutting it down by removing myself, he felt like the door was open for him to ask me those things. And then I had to cuss him the fuck out, and then he was blocked and deleted and all those different things, right? Happy birthday, happy birthday. But that's what I mean by when I say you part of the problem. It's all based on what you're willing to accept. It's all about what you're willing to still deal with after they've shown you, you know, After the veil done came off, you know, and because a lot of people during the dating stage, they wear a mask, you know, they look the part that, you know, you talking to their representative, but every now and again, that mask get to peeling up off of the corner of their motherfucking face, and you can see, oh, you ain't shit. Oh, you a pervert. Oh, you think you should get something, you know, early on. Oh, you just here for, you know, getting to a sexual encounter. Or, oh, you here for whatever that their purpose is. You become part of the problem when you don't shut it down quickly, verbally, and also physically by removing yourself. Because guess what? How he behaved on that first date, he gonna behave like that on the second date. And you could, well, I checked them and I told them and I didn't like that or whatever. But yeah, but you still showed up for another encounter with them. You still let them come pick you up and take you somewhere else. You still. After this person has let you know what their character is like, what they're about, what type of things that they like to do, what's important to them, okay? And you let it continue on. I don't want to have to tell somebody, no, I'm not a hoe. I would rather go out with the man who already is not looking for a hoe and not acting like one himself. I will already prefer to you know, go out with the person who already has those morals, those scruples, those characteristics about themselves, and that don't even have to be a conversation. Okay? That would make more sense. That's just like, you know, again with the, you know, dealing with someone that doesn't have certain things together. I'd rather go out with somebody who already got that together, not somebody who need me to tell them, oh, you know, by the way, you need to have your own place. By the way, you need to have your own car. By the way. Because even if they do it, the shit is temporary. Even if they, yeah, she said I need to do such and such. That ain't who they is. You need to be talking to people. Yes, we can have a conversation. Thank you. I appreciate it. I just did it. This is actually crochets. This is not real locks. My hair ain't even thick enough to be playing with locks. So I crocheted some locks in and then I cut it into a bob. Y'all see that angle? Period. You know. 20 years of being a licensed hairstylist. Okay. But anyway, that's how we become part of our problem though, as women. And even as men, I'm sure there's men that have went out with some women that just wasn't it. It's like as a man, if you go out with a woman, you know, and the first thing she gets to talking about is some material stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like everything about her says money, and she don't have no real substance. Well, if you keep going out with her, if you keep dealing with her, you know what you signed up for. You keep dealing with her, go out with her again. Next thing you know, I don't like this restaurant. This need to be such and such. You keep dealing with her, just know you finna be coming off that bread. Because she's already let you know what her character is. She's already let you know what her expectation is, what she wants. This is how men end up in relationships with women that only want them for their money. She showed you in the beginning that that's all she was on. But you saw a future with her because, oh, she got a nice body, or oh, she's pretty, or oh, you know, I'm looking for a mother for my kids, or whatever. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking for a stepmama, or whatever you was looking for. You know what I'm saying? That you felt like she could fit into that category, so you accepted and you dealt with and you know, obliged some things that you really didn't want to. And now you look up however long later and you stuck with this person because maybe y'all have had, you know, more kids together, or maybe because of the time or whatever. One whole time you was part of the problem. Because people gonna be who they are. You can't do nothing about that. Who's that? Somebody talking about me? Try anybody worried about nobody talking about me. And I'll explain all this later. You know my phone number. Call me. The fuck? You have my direct line. All right? Okay? But seriously, you can really be a part of your own problem. And if you allow something to continue, it's going to continue. So silly. If you allow something to go on, it's going to go on. And it's what do you expect? Okay, well, you know where I'm at. You know what to do. Anyway. But still, the whole message here is don't allow things that you know you're not okay with. Don't make yourself be okay with something just because you looking at a future of what something could be. Right? Don't accept things that you should not accept. If you have to check a person about you or whatever, trust and believe you're going to deal with that later. Because they showed you their character. Whatever that you check, whatever that you said something about, that's their character. That's not going anywhere. They might put on a different character. They might put on a different costume. They might put on a different persona for you for a certain period of time. But that's temporary. That's not really who they are. And you become part of your own problem by allowing them to, shapeshift into something else temporarily when you already seen that character early on. I went on a date with a guy. I think that was, this particular date was like a year or something ago. I don't feel like it was a whole 2 years. It might have been. It was a while ago. Because again, I don't entertain a lot of shit. Okay? I don't and won't and don't have to and get the fuck. You know what I'm saying? But please get off my live with that. I don't know what y'all talking about. I don't know who Stray Kids is. All I can say is your mama, your mammy, if you talking about me. But anyway, when I was this guy and your mama. Went out with this guy and went to this restaurant. The restaurant was okay. I forgot what the name of it was, but it's irrelevant. Anyway, so we ordered some food. And he wanted to order like, you know how you can order like shareables or like appetizers that are shareables and stuff like that. And which is cute or whatever, but I want my own, so I don't necessarily want your hand in different shit or whatever. He like, I got these wings. You want a couple of the wings? I'm like, give me, I'm going to order for my appetizer. I got like, some nachos or something, So anyway, I don't know who that is. But anyway, they had some macaroni and cheese on their menu. And since I've been in Texas, I make it my business. So when I go to an establishment, if they serve mac and cheese, I would like to try it. Okay? I would like to try it. I would like to see what y'all doing with this macaroni and cheese. And especially if they got mac and greens. Oh, let me get that. So I was like, I want to try this macaroni and cheese. He's like, I want to try it too. I'm like, okay. Now, when the person came over to take an order, or the waiter came over to take an order, I ordered the mac and cheese. He didn't order none. I said, okay, well, maybe he changed his mind, right? My mac and cheese get there. This person took, what's something I could use? Think like this, the fork. This person took their fork. This is a paintbrush, but let's pretend this is a fork. This person took his fork and dipped it in my mac and cheese and proceeded to eat some. Took his fork and put it in my mac and cheese and proceeded to eat some. I never went out with the man again. Never. Because you just showed me your character. Number one, you're cheap. You're trying to order shareable shit. When I said something, the crazy as fuck. When I said something about, well, I really want to order a salad or whatever. Now, granted, I'm a fat girl. I've been a fat girl my whole life, okay? But I eat very healthy, okay? Eat very healthy. When I go to the doctor, I'm clean bill of health, okay? Now, all right, super stacked. So, but it still shouldn't be an assumption that I don't eat healthy, because I do. So I was like, I want a salad. Let's see what else they got. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to try their side of mac and cheese, but I wanted other shit, right? That was healthier. He like, nah, we not doing all that today. And da da da. So you like to be in control. You don't want to let me order what I want to order. Okay. You put your fork in my bowl and proceeded to eat it, and then you thought you was gonna dip and get some more. Date 2 never happened again. Ever. Because you just showed me that you're selfish, you're cheap. You just showed me that you don't have any regard for me as a person. You showed me that you're nasty. Because you just met me. Why is you eating out my bowl? Because I got it and I dipped in there and ate, right? Because it's my bowl. Then he picked up his fork and, do y'all understand? You know what I got, what's in my mouth, whatever, for you to be eating behind me. And I don't know what you got for me to be eating behind you. So no, I don't want no more. I'm okay. Okay? And with that, like, I voiced, like, what are you doing? But I just seemed like, oh, okay. Very weird. Extremely weird. So I was like, okay. All right. Never again. Never again. And this wasn't no broke person. That's another thing. People be looking at, oh, well, this person work here, or they have this kind of business, or they make this kind of money, or they drive this kind of car or truck or whatever, but their character still fucked up. That don't negate that their character is fucked. That don't negate who they are. And just because a person has a certain means, or just because a person works at a certain place and they make however much, you don't know what their financial situation is. You don't know what kind of debt they in. You don't know what shit they paying off. You don't know if they paying alimony plus child support plus. You don't know. They can make $100,000 a year and be broke. As a joke, okay? Don't mean shit. The date is not made up. The jokes write themselves, baby. I wish the date was made up. I wish that I never experienced that. I've never experienced no shit like that in my whole life until that day, and haven't experienced that since then. Okay. And one thing about that particular date, we were in like a booth, like one of those booths that's like, say like it's those booths is like round, you know. It's not those cheap booths that's like, you know, straight. It's the round ones, you know. So the front part of your table is facing out into the restaurant, and your booth is like a semicircle, like a half moon. I should have said I want to sit somewhere else where I could sit across from him. Okay, back then I had boundaries, of course, but back then my boundaries wasn't quite the same. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, this is a cute booth or whatever. Sit right here. I thought I was comfortable to sit there. But since I was in close proximity to him and I was sitting next to him, I guess he thought that, oh, she's right here. I could just dip my motherfucking fork. Where's whose son? I don't know. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know. People tell me I'm pretty all the time. Thank you. But yeah, that was crazy. Insane. Like, huh? You date number 2 never happened again. Your mama. Your mama. Your mama, your daddy, your greasy-headed granny. Get off my life if you don't like me. I'm a proud fat girl, baby. Because the face card eats down. Never decline. Fuck. How you doing? I might be fat, baby, but I never been ugly a day in my life, okay? Mind your business. Mind your business. Where your kids at? But we talking about how you could be the problem. If I would have went on another date with him, whatever that I got would be whatever that I got. If I would have went on another date with him and he would have dipped his fork into some other shit I was eating, guess what? He would have felt justified in that. Because, bitch, I did that on the first date and you still went out with me. Okay? But like I was saying, this was not no broke person. He was a supervisor for Lockheed Martin, a company that make aerospace shit, like ex-military, retired from the military, and then went on to do. So anybody know, even if you spend 6 years in and get out the military, you're gonna be getting some sort of check for the rest of your fucking life. But especially if you retire from the military, you could basically live off of that. You know what I'm saying? Depending on your financial situation and where you are, you know, in the world or whatever, you can live off of that. But to have that, and then on top of that, you work somewhere where you make close to or upwards of 6 figures, and you want to share food, you want to dip in somebody's bowl, you just a controlling person. You're just the type of person that likes to be able to do what you're not considerate. Never mind controlling, inconsiderate. So a person being inconsiderate is like so dangerous. An inconsiderate person is extremely dangerous. Because if they're inconsiderate with the little things, they likely gonna be inconsiderate with the big shit too. Is that real gold on your mammy neck? Is it? Nope, I got this out the Cracker Jack box. I got it out the Cracker Jack. But seriously, if a person that is inconsiderate on some little, they're going to be inconsiderate on some big shit too. What the fuck? They're going to be like, oh, well, I thought you was going to eat all the chips. Like, they're not going to consider you. No. So I shut that down then, okay? So this is how you make sure that you're not the problem. Shut shit down quick. Like, soon as you see that it's an issue, don't continue dealing with the person, dating them or whatever. Because then later on, now we got a sad story to tell about how, you know, oh, this person, they took me through so much and blah, 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 blah. And if you ask them people, anybody who's ever told you a sad story about a relationship that was a victim or anything, ask them, how was your first few dates with the person? How was your first 6 months? If they was with them for some years, how was your first 6 months? What did they do? Tell me some real stuff. How did they make you feel? You know, was there ever a time that they did this, or this? Let's say it's a woman who it becomes a victim of DA. You know, let's say, I bet you money, dollars to donuts, he done show her something in them first few months to let him know that he liked to put his hands on women. He grabbed her. He act like he was choking her. He hemmed her up in a corner or something. He did something aggressive. You know, he played like he was pulling her hair, like yanked it, and she, stop. He did something to let you know that he don't give a fuck about your safety, about your boundary. He let you know something early on. If you're dealing with a person that's you know, you end up dealing with them over time, and it come out that, you know, they were cheating on you, they were this, they were that. Bet you go back to the beginning. So was they putting their phone face down on y'all first dates? Was there any times that they were unaccounted for and they were supposed to be accounted for? Was there times that they told you that this was going to happen, but then it didn't, or that happened, or something different? Has anyone ever came to you and said anything to you about the person being not trustworthy? I'm guarantee you that shit happened in the first few months, and you overlooked that shit, and then now, years later, you have a soliloquy of, oh, woe is me. You was part of the problem in your own demise because